Yo, what's up, gang, bro? It's your boy SS Sniper King, bro. I'm sorry, I'm a little late, bro. I was just playing the game, bro. Then I saw it's Thursday, bro. So you already know what time it is. Spooky, scary Thursday. And bro, just get your snacks, get you some Takis, some Skittles, and a little old Sprite. So let's get to watching some horror stories. So we got the first one right here. So yeah, about Wanzi, because you already know I like his horror stories. Oh, my bad. Bro, what's with me and pressing the wrong button, bro? See, this one I'm talking about.
A year ago, I moved into another town. The town was very small and isolated and had a small population. I started going to a small boxing gym, and only a few guests used that gym as well. Whenever I go to the gym, I could see there were about 1 or 2 people. The gym was barely managed and used to smell something weird, like someone's sweat. I learned almost nothing from there for 2 months. The instructor was not always there, and I just go to the empty gym and work out by myself every time. Still, I had no choice but to go there since it was the only gym in the neighborhood. In addition, it was good to use as much exercise equipment as possible. Another advantage was that there were quite a few...
Why they look so suspicious though? And hold on, what was he doing? Hold on. I'm not finna be pausing it though, but y'all noticed something a little bit. I fixed the audio. Well, a little bit, so yeah. Alright, let's get to it.
Neighborhood. In addition, it was good to use as much exercise equipment as possible. Another advantage was that there were quite a few punching bags in the gym, which were much softer and more elastic than ordinary ones. It seemed to be a kind of luxury punching bag. The instructor always looked at me with a cold eye whenever he meets me, but it didn't matter anyway. All I have to do is just exercise at the gym. Then, one day, something happened. Suddenly, the cops came into the gym and started asking the instructor lots of things. It is said that people were constantly missing in this small town. After concluding that the criminal was in the neighborhood, the cops started to look for him, but they were unable to catch him. It was a little creepy for no reason. Well, I'm a strong dude. Thinking like that, I just shook it off.
You heard how you said it? Hello.
It was a little creepy for no reason. Well, I'm a strong dude. Thinking like that, I just shook it off. After that, the time has passed. One day, I came out to exercise as usual, then found police cars parked in front of the gym. As I got closer, I couldn't help but be shocked. The instructor was being arrested. The cops blocked me from entering the gym, but I could literally see it. I could see those things through the narrow view. It was the bodies that were being pulled.
You gotta be kidding me. No, we done. We done. End the video. We done. I'll see you on the next one. Bro, what is that? I just started watching it and I'm already done. Bro, what did I expect? It's a horror story. Like, what do I expect? For it to be for it to be about ponies and stuff? It's a horror story. What do I expect? What do I expect? Blood. Dead bodies.
Out of the punching bag by the police. The punching bags in the gym contain the bodies of the missing person. The police investigation revealed that the instructor had killed a total of 6 people in the town and kept the bodies in a punching bag to create an alibi to avoid the police. I started to panic after the police interrogation and immediately came up with something. I mean, the feel of the punching bag. I threw up right away. After that day, I've been suffering trauma and eventually quit boxing and moved to another place. However, even now, I can't forget the weird stench of the gym. The smells that I thought were just sweat.
This man be killing people?
This happened to me when I was 16 years old.
We're not finna keep on watching these, alright? What's some others we can watch? Bye, Wanzi. Hold on. Alright, these look creepy though. These are very creepy.
Oh, and it's a double kill to start the bottom half of the match. Oh, what's this?
I really got hit with an ad.
He's going into the...
We're watching like
I don't know what to do. It all started 3 weeks ago. My mom disappeared. She was at home in the morning, nothing different. She hugged me, saying goodbye, wished me luck with school, and gave me a packed lunch. And when I got home that evening, she wasn't there. She didn't come back. So we called the police and all of the search was set up. The whole town came together and held a giant search party, lasting through the night, but there was no sign of her at all. She had just completely vanished. The weeks...
That's tough. That is very tough. You gotta go through that. Already know what that dude did, so I'm not even finna spoil it, so I'm gonna just let y'all watch.
Since were hell for both me and my dad. Rumors started spreading through town, and particularly around the school, that my mom had been murdered. Dad took things a lot worse than I did. He was a carpenter, so it wasn't unusual behavior for him to disappear into the garage for a long time to work on a chair or table or something. Especially, it was what he always did when he was stressed. I figured that's just how he was dealing with the grief. We barely spoke over the next couple weeks. He was locked in there from sunrise to midnight. And we might bump into each other at one point, but he'd just say goodnight and went to bed. Sure, it was a bit weird, but I understood that he was going through a lot. But the longer he spent in there, the less I was sure he was doing woodwork. There were large bottles of bleach popping up in our bins, and Dad barely took any break. One night, I had waited for him to go to sleep, and I crept down to try to open the door. But it was locked tight, and Dad always had the key. But today, when I came home from school, he was in the kitchen, freshly shaved, showered, had a rested face. He was totally different from what he'd been for the last couple of weeks. He was cooking. My dad used to love grilling, and his steaks were always amazingly delicious. So it was a nice change, since I fed myself only pot noodles and soup for a few weeks.
Pot noodles? Pot noodles. What's up with this man? Pot noodles. That sounds delicious though. I ain't even gonna cap. That sounds delicious though.
He set down two of the biggest, bloodiest steaks I had ever seen in my life. But it looked kind of different. Not bad, but just different.
What the? Nah, bro. Nah. Do y'all even know who that is? Do y'all even know who that is? Do you guys know who he's about to eat? Y'all might already know. You might already know.
Dad tucked into a steak straight away, and I did too. It was a bit tough to chew, but the seasoning and flavors tasted just as good as the rest of the steaks were. We had finished pretty soon, and I was feeling full and satisfied. Then Dad said something I can't stop thinking about. I doubt they'll ever find her body. His voice didn't sound sad or depressed. I didn't say anything, just stared at him. Hearing what he said sent shivers down my spine. Then I thought of the steaks. the late nights in the garage, hundreds of bleach bottles, and my dad's weird behavior. Did he feed me her body?
What?
Or am I just overthinking it?
See what I was talking about? You see what I was talking about? He ate his mom. He killed her. He killed her. This dude's a maniac.
What do I do?
Freaking psycho. What the? I don't even know what this is.
When I was 16, my parents, brother, and I were living in an apartment on the 4th floor. Every night, we heard crazy laughing outside of our house. At first, we just thought it could have been a neighbor taking care of a sick person, so we didn't worry about it. Then one night, I heard laughing again. It was 11 p.m., and everyone in my house was sleeping. I got out of bed and looked out the window, and I saw nothing.
Nah. Bro, why would you look out the window in an apartment? If you living on the 1st floor, you already know you about to get killed easily. You might as well live on the 5th floor or the 6th, if you even have one.
And as soon as I looked out the window, the laughing stopped. It was kind of weird, but anyway, I just went back into bed and slept.
Look like a basketball.
After that, I had to use the bathroom at 4:30 a.m. The bathroom was downstairs in the hall, and the bathroom window was facing a big field of grass and a parking lot. After I finished using the bathroom and washed my hands, I heard that crazy loud laugh again for about a whole 30 seconds. It sounded like this person didn't even get tired. He seemed that he needed to catch his breath from this loud and long laughing. I proceeded to look out the window again, and then I saw a group of about 5 dogs going crazy around something. And when the dogs moved, I absolutely felt fear. There was something, another dog. I think it was a dog. It had a dog body and paws, but not a dog face. It had a human face, and it was staring at me. It looked at me for a minute.
What is this? Okay, record it. Huh? Record it. I'm recording a video. No. I'm recording a video. Right?
I play Spain in Rise of Kingdoms. The
I really
Spanish has
got
cavalry
it.
bonuses and develops really fast during.
However, we were
That really just hit. Oh, let me go to the
following 5 dogs going crazy around something. And when the dogs moved, I absolutely felt fear. There was something, human face, and it was staring at me. It looked at me for a minute and then started to slowly smile.
Nah, bro, nah. Bruh, what is that? What is that? What are we looking at? What are we looking at, Are we looking at a whole dog with a fake? See? That's how you know this is messed up, man. Look. How he looking? Man, let's just keep watching. I don't know why I just turned my stuff off.
Then laughed
still
again.
recording.
And that was the same voice that I've heard constantly. I ran to my room, but I couldn't go back to sleep. The next morning, I told my parents and brother what had happened. And they thought I had a nightmare. I said that I swear it wasn't a nightmare, but they didn't believe me.
Of course, man.
They just laughed and ignored it. Everything felt real. I know it was 100% real. But the next few days went by, and I didn't hear anything. And one day, it was getting quite dark outside. I did end up getting a cold from swimming, so my parents and brother went out grocery shopping without me. It was 9 p.m., and I took my dog for a walk for a little while. There was an abandoned house down the block, and my dog took off running to a bush suddenly. It was like something caught his attention. I ran after my dog, and literally I had to crawl under a fence to go and get him. When I finished crawling under the fence, I ended up cutting my knee. But thankfully, I got my dog, and when I looked up, there that thing was. That dog with a human face.
How he
We
looking
were
though?
face to face. It had glowing green eyes.
No.
And it had definitely human face features, and the head was bald. I screamed, and it just started that scary laughing again. I ran away with my dog and came back home. Well, I'm 18 now, and my family and I moved away to another place. I don't know what the heck that thing was, and why I've seen it twice. But I'm just glad that I don't see it anymore.
Oh, freak. We gonna look at 2 more horror stories, and then we out. Cause I'm just getting creeped out. This music, this on fire.
I recently moved out to attend university in a different town, so I rented a flat where I live alone. Every morning, I took my bicycle, which I keep in the basement of my building, and went to my lectures. Usually, the neighborhood is quiet, but one night around 1 o'clock a.m., my door phone rang. This was unusual, but I brushed it off as a mistake from someone who got drunk. It rang again, but I kept ignoring it. This happened at least 3 different times, so it began to annoy me. One day, I returned from my lecture and found a bus ticket placed on my door handle. This ticket was from a bus in my hometown, and it appeared to be mine, as the bus number on it was the bus that I frequently used. At this moment, I started to get concerned that someone was pranking me. That same night, I kept my front window a bit open to keep an eye on the entrance. I live on the 2nd floor, so it's too high for anyone to climb. I shut the lights and waited. And at that moment, the door phone rang again. This time,
No.
I checked through the window and there was a shadowy figure of a man. He waited for about 5 minutes and then left. I considered calling the police, but I had nothing to report besides a strange man ringing my door phone late at night, so I soon ignored it. But what happened some days after almost made me go crazy. It was around 3 a.m., and the door phone rang again. By this time, though, I heard the front door shut. Someone must have forgotten to lock it, so I assumed that the man was now inside the building. Terrified, I went to the kitchen and grabbed the biggest knife I had. Then I stood behind the front door and waited. The doorbell rang. I think my stomach dropped at that point. He rang again, and then knocked strongly. I stayed frozen for an eternity until I couldn't hear anything. I was relieved and went to sleep after a while, which in hindsight was very
Are you
stupid,
serious?
as I should have made sure that the man had left the building. The following morning, as I was leaving for my lecture, I noticed some scratches near the front door's handle, as if someone had tried to mess with the lock. I immediately went to my landlord, who lives right above me, and explained everything that had been going on. He reassured me that everything would be fine. So I went to get my bike, but as I walked towards the basement door, I noticed that the lock was broken. I finally understood. The man from last night must have hidden in there. I hadn't heard the front door shut again yesterday, so that
No.
must have meant that the man was still here. I ran upstairs
I saw
again
him.
and told my landlord. He got angry, grabbed a bat, and went to check. All I could hear was struggling noises as my landlord beat that man senseless. We then called the police, who arrived a few moments later and arrested him. I still remember his face to this day, as he looked straight at me silently. It turned out that this man had been following me for days and was trying to rob my house. He had done the same thing to other people in the past. I don't know what happened to him afterwards, but I assume he is in prison. I am forever grateful to my landlord for being so brave. We replaced the locks on every door, so now I feel safer. Well, I would have forgotten about this if I didn't open my mailbox recently and find another bus ticket.
Nah, bro. Last one.
My name is Michael, and it happened 2 years ago. I had some friends at the time. Let's call them Dan, Sarah, and Hazel. We decided to make our little party of explorers, exploring forests and abandoned structures and such. That day was our first exploration, an abandoned house just at the end of my neighborhood. We started walking toward that house and reached it soon. People said that it was built in the 1940s. It had been owned by a man who abandoned it after moving to live in the nursing home, and the house has been left alone since then. We were outside for a while, and Dan says we should go inside. We decided to check out the well first, which was next to the house. The well was stone and round, which looked exactly like the same thing as in the Ring movie. There was a piece of old wood board covering the top. All of a sudden, Dan jumped up on the board like a maniac. Then his leg fell through the small opening. If he would have fallen in, we'd have been in big trouble. Luckily, he lifted his leg out of the opening and acted like nothing just happened. We went inside, and we could smell a very strong odor emitting from inside the house. It was very gross, but putting smells aside, we came across a bunch of weird things around the house. Clothes packed in a freezer, a fireplace with dolls inside, an upside-down table.
Whoa.
It kind of looked like an art museum. Things started to get kind of eerie. Then we entered a bedroom this time, and the roof was almost caved in. Clothes with stains everywhere, and a black ooze was rolled down across the ceiling. I was going to puke at this point. And at that moment, we heard some distinct chewing sounds. We freaked out, so we didn't have any choice except we were going outside. But when we left the room, barely, we all froze.
Nah.
A man who wore a scruffy lime green shirt and old gym shorts.
No. This is the last horror story, too. Y'all want me on pause to do y'all? Y'all probably do.
Or it stood in front of the front door. He seemed like that he didn't shower for a few months. He just stood there and glared at us with a fierce look.
Nah, bro, that look.
He slowly lifted his arm to show us.
Yeah.
It looked like a lump of raw meat with the blood still dripping from it. That guy was chewing his arm. My legs were shaking. I wanted to cry at that time. He shouted, "Get the hell out of here," in a hoarse voice, and we ran away. I couldn't believe what it was I saw. After that, I never met the same guy in my neighborhood. We haven't told our parents yet. And I'm still wondering, would he still be there if I visit that house again?
Dang. Alright, guys, that's the last horror story for today. I'll see y'all next time, bro. Like, bro, all those interruptions. I'm sorry for the interruptions. But next Spooky Scary Thursday, we gonna watch 6 horror stories. Yeah, 6. I got all the time in the world. So I'll see y'all next time. Peace.